Hello and welcome to episode 2 of NCIA Today. It's February 28th, 2020, and I'm Bethany Moore, NCIA's Communications Project Manager and host of NCIA's weekly podcast, The Cannabis Industry Voice. We've been up to a whole lot this past month, so let's go. This past month, we hosted our first trade show of the year, the Northeast Cannabis Business Conference in Boston, Massachusetts. Over the course of 2 days, attendees took in 2 keynotes, breakout education sessions, and rows upon rows of exhibitor booths. While the conference was happening, we also hosted an Illicit Market Summit. Members of the law enforcement community, attorneys general, cannabis regulators, formerly incarcerated individuals, entrepreneurs associations, federal health agencies, and cannabis tech companies all gathered for a summit to share information about the illicit cannabis market and to find market-oriented solutions to replace it with a thriving, regulated market. Leaders from the summit then presented a report recapping and highlighting a path forward that encompasses best practices for sharing information through public-private partnership and alternatives to arrest and incarceration. Boston's Northeast Cannabis Business Conference was such a hit that we're hosting another Northeast Cannabis Business Conference this fall. Plan to join us in October in Atlantic City, New Jersey to discuss the future of cannabis in the Northeast Corridor, just days before Garden State voters will be deciding whether to legalize and regulate cannabis for adults. In response to an outbreak of respiratory illnesses primarily associated with unregulated cannabis vape cartridges found in the illicit market in recent months, NCIA's Policy Council, with the help of experts in several fields, produced an extensive report that explores the known and potential causes of the condition and offers ways for producers, regulators, and lawmakers to prevent such issues from occurring in the legal regulated market. To speak more about the Policy Council's letter, let's catch up with NCIA's Director of Public Policy, Andrew Klein. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Bethany.
Can you tell me what was the purpose of this paper being written in the first place?
As the reports began to appear of a linkage between lung injuries and the use of vaping products, the Policy Council initially just formed a safe vape task force. And we did it to try to respond to the incoming that we were receiving. No one really knew in the beginning what the causes were. So we started writing blogs, and we wrote some congressional testimony, we wrote an op-ed, and then we started planning a summit to talk about the illicit market. When the public health experts concluded that additives from the illicit market appeared to be the proximate cause of the injuries and deaths, that's when we decided we needed to dig deeper and write like a robust paper about the dangers of vaping.
So what were the key takeaways of the paper?
The biggest takeaway is that we've got to do something about the illicit market. The illicit market is not working for everybody, for anybody. In this particular instance, as it relates to the vaping crisis, you've got people who are filling vape cartridges in their garage, literally, with cannabis oil that they're producing themselves, and then mixing it with additives like vitamin E acetate in order to change the viscosity level so that the oil can actually move through the device, and that it has caused injuries and deaths. Another thing that we discovered was there's a pretty clear correlation between high taxes and the illicit market. So, and sorry, this is a little bit of a non sequitur, but we need to focus on the bad actors, right, that are hurting and injuring people. One of the ways that we can do that is by making sure that the legal industry can compete with the illicit industry. And we do that by making sure the taxes are not too high, because if consumers, are paying super high taxes, that means they're paying super high prices. And if they're paying super high prices, it's going to drive them to the illicit market. The biggest takeaway here, for me at least, is testing, right? We have to provide reliable, safe, tested products in the legal regulated market, products that could be recalled if there's a problem. But we need to know, like, what is the THC level? What is the terpene level? What residual solvents are in the product? Are there pesticides? Are there heavy metals? Is there yeast? Is there mold? And the only way to do that really is in the legal marketplace, because illicit market actors are not testing their products.
You've mentioned the Policy Council a few times. Can you tell me more about that?
So the Policy Council itself is a group of 35 lawyers, cannabis entrepreneurs, scientists, doctors, and other professionals who understand that public policy is really important, both in terms of influencing the federal government, lawmakers, but also at the state level. That it can, the wrong public policy can hurt or kill your business, and the right public policy can drive revenue for you. And so these folks understand the importance of getting ahead of those public policies and drafting papers that are import to the industry, and then building advocacy campaigns around them. With the vape paper, just like every other paper, if we don't have the expertise on the Policy Council, I seek outside help. And so we did leverage the expertise of 4 or 5 people in the vape industry who and a doctor who helped us write the paper.
And if you want to learn more about the Policy Council and apply to be on it, check out the Policy Council page on our website. Now let's turn to one of the lesser known but more powerful member benefits that NCIA has to offer: access to BDS Analytics Green Edge platform. To help explain, here's Membership Manager John Din.
NCIA's membership department is always looking for ways to increase the value to our nearly 2,000 members. One member benefit that's especially powerful is access to the BDS Analytics Green Edge data platform. The NCIA and BDS partnership was developed to provide NCIA members with standardized measures of industry sales, performance, and growth. Through this partnership, NCIA members receive access to the Green Edge retail sales tracking platform with category-level sales reporting from BDS Analytics. You can use the BDS Analytics Green Edge platform to see what kinds of products consumers are buying based on real point of sales transactions, study sales by category, subcategory, channel, and region, improve your business's profitability, mitigate risk to attract more investment, spot emerging trends as they start. For more information, don't hesitate to reach out to the NCIA membership team.
Announcement time. Our Cannabis Caucus series is during March. This is our only caucus tour of 2020. Remember, this is a members-only event, so if you want to attend and you are a member, find the caucus taking place closest to you and check it out. If you're not a member, we do have a limited number of non-member tickets available, but it'd be better if you just became a member. Registration for this year's 10th annual Lobby Days is now open. This year, Lobby Days will take place from May 19th through 21st. Come join us and your cannabis industry colleagues from around the nation in Washington, D.C. for NCIA's 10th annual Cannabis Industry Lobby Days. If you haven't yet, check out a featurette of Oregon cannabis dispensary owners Joseph and Chelsea Hopkins. Together, they own and operate The Greener Side, a dispensary in Eugene, Oregon. As some of the original entrepreneurs to open a dispensary in the state of Oregon, their story of being raided by federal authorities shows how resilient one needs to be in the cannabis industry. That's it for this episode of NCIA Today. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all the things we've talked about. And thanks for watching.